All right. We are officially rolling. Hey, folks, this is Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast hip hop. And today I got another West Coast legendary brother on the line. Oh, my God, folks. This brother right here, you've seen him in all kind of documentaries. But today I have the pleasure of having a one-on-one conversation with him. None other than the legendary master of hospitality. I'm going to put it like that right now. Mr. FILLMORE Slim. How you doing this morning, Doc?
All right.
Right.
So I put the money in my pocket, right?
Okay.
So the musicians, man, that's a hoe, man. That's an old prostitute, man. You know, I don't know why you talking to her, whoop. You know, I say, man, I say, you have to mind your own business. I say, you know, I'm looking at this almost $100, and I got $10 that night. With to put on that, I got $100, man, in 1955.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying, man?
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of money, and you know. So she continued to giving me tools and giving me a little money. You know, every night, you know, she come and give me a little money, $50, $35. So now I done stacked my little money, man. In 2 weeks, I look up, man, I got almost $300. Okay?
Oh shit.
I got almost $300. So when we got ready to go, you know, she came down to the club with a suitcase packed.
Okay.
I said, "What's up?" You know, I'm getting ready to go. You know, I done had fun. You know, I ain't know nothing about no being together or no kind of stuff like that. You know, I don't know about no pimping, you know.
Okay.
So, but I'm taking this money because 1955, man, and you know, I got some money in my pocket. You understand me? So, I felt like I was rich, man, you know. So you got ready to go. She said, "I want to go with you." I said, "You can't go with me." I said, "What's your family going to say?" I never forget. She said, she's 23. She said, "I'm 29 years old." She said, "I'm 29 years old. My family I can do what I want to do." So everybody in the van said, "Man, we ain't taking her. She can't go with us, man. We ain't taking her back to L.A. with us, man." I said, "Pastor, she ain't riding with me." And I said this, brother, I never forget the word. I said, "Check this out, man. That's my van. I own it." I say, I got a little money in my pocket. I'm going back to L.A., you understand me? And then go to the pawn shop and buy me a ring. You understand me? And buy me some Stacey Adams shoes and a black hat. I never forget this. I said, "Now, if y'all don't want to ride back with me and this girl," I said, "we tell you what y'all do. Y'all catch the bus, because I'm finna go."
I'm mad at you.
So they got in the van. We brought it back to L.A., man. And I never forget it. I was staying over Coney Island on Central and almost to Vernon. There was a spouse that I always check in when I come back, you know. So when I got her, you know, I had to go back to the guy's house where all the musicians there. So I had my own place. So I checked in Coney Island, right there next to Old American Legion on Central Avenue. And she told me, she said, "Well, show me where the girls at. Where you see girls standing?" I said, "I see them standing right there on Vernon Central, right there by Dolphin Hollywood."
Wow.
Dolphin Hollywood, where Rudy Ray Moore used to be a DJ. Feel me? Yeah. So I said, right there where I see girls standing. So she went out, you understand me? She said, okay. So she left out the hotel, you understand me? And she went out there and she came back and she gave me about $40 or $50, okay? I put that in my pocket with my little stack, you know? Now, then she go back, she went back out there now, in about a week, then she went back, and next time she come in there, she got another girl with her. I said, "What's up?" You know, she said, "Well, this is our wife-in-law." I said, "I ain't married." "What you talking about, our wife-in-law?" I said, "I ain't married to nobody." You know, she said, "No, this is our wife-in-law. She's with us." You know, and here's her money and here's my money. Now I look at that. She got about what? She got about $55. You know what I mean? And my girl, she got about $75. So now I'm in the game. They done put me in the game.
Put you in the game.
Okay?
Wow.
Now I put my guitar down.
Okay.
They called me to go play. No, play piano. Now I'm playing at the Elbow Bend on Avalon. The Elbow Bend on down there by Old Wrigley Field.
Okay.
Okay. On Avalon Avenue, down there. Okay. On Avalon.
Okay.
So I'm playing there. So they calling me to go to work. I said, man, come on, man. You know, we working tonight. I said, man, you got to call somebody in my place. I can't make it.
Okay.
So now I'm doing my thing. Okay, now. So after that, man, I'm down there. So I go back to work and I'm playing that piano, singing the blues, and girls smiling at me. So now I'm in the game. So I tell them, you know, I said, you like me? Oh, yeah, we love you. I said, well, if you love me, I want you to try something. You understand me? I said, what is that? I said, you know, I want you to go out there with this girl, with these two girls of mine. You understand me? You understand me? We gonna be Hollywood stars. I know look at it. I said, we gonna be in movies. That we gonna have everything we need. You understand? We gonna have a Cadillac, and we gonna have all these things. Okay, so now, I was turning them out from the nightclub, never going out there, and I never forget. And then one night, you know, this guy, this real player, drove up in his Cadillac with my 3 women in the car. I said, young blood, come here. You know, I said, what's up? He said, you see these girls right here? I never forget the words. Say, they used to be your girls, but they my girls now.
Wow.
I said, what you talking about, man? He said, young blood, I don't get mad now. He said, young blood, he said, you learning the game. You know, I said, this is the name of the game, you know. If your girls give me your money, they are my girls now, and it's courtesy for me to come and tell you so you won't fool with them no more. It's not your girls no more.
You been knocked.
Yeah, been knocked. I said, okay. He said, but you learning, young blood, you learning, you know. So, okay. So now I'm sitting back playing the blues, you understand me? So they don't get the girl I bring from Texas. They got the rest of them, right? So anyway, so I said, okay. So what I started doing is I said, okay, they gave you my money. Yeah, you know. I said, oh. So what I started doing, I would take an intermission. And when I took an intermission, I would jump in my car and go out there and give up my girl. I said, give me your money. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, and then go back to work. So then the players came and told me, this player told me, said, young blood, said, you learning. So you learning? So I said, yeah, you taught me a lesson. You say they got to have the money for to choose you. I said, but if they broke, they can't choose you. They can't choose. I said, okay. So that's how I learned the game. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now we got the background from FILLMORE Slim in the very early days of being in the game. We talking about pimping. Yes, we keeping it real, folks. We talking about pimping. Now he's a legendary pimp. He did it from the age of 17 to about 1984. I don't know how I can't do the math on that right there. But now his main focus is always been his music. And that's something right. I never knew. I've always seen you in Pimps Up, Holes Down, and all the other various documentaries, but they never touched on your musical career. Now, you say you play piano and guitar. What else you play? Anything else?
I play piano, guitar, bass, and a little bit of drums. I used to play a little trombone.
Okay. Now, I went on yesterday. You gave me a link to go to. I'm gonna give it to the folks out here right now. It's called "Son of the Seven Sisters." Right.
That's my latest CD.
That's latest CD.
Been out 35 days.
Grammy nominated. Right. That what you said? Grammy nominated.
Yeah, it's been sitting for a Grammy.
Okay.
You know, and one more thing. 3 Sundays ago, I was inducted. They gave me the BMA award. I was inducted in the Hall of Fame at Atlantic College in Oakland, along with Rappin' Forte and Pete Escovedo.
Wow.
And it was presented to me by N.W.A.
Okay. All right. Now, see here. This is some stuff. That's amazing how your name rings throughout the media, but they never talk about your musical career, man. And I was blown away when Lenny mentioned it to me. He said, it's a song that you sing that most cats can't sing. He said, FILLMORE, I forgot what it was. It's FILLMORE sang this song right here, man. And
James Brown.
James Brown. Okay, right. He said, man, most cats can't sing that song. He said, but FILLMORE bring it down every time he do it, and they just don't talk.
Bring down the house.
Wow.
Yeah, I did it at Yorkshire with the Tonys.
Okay.
You know, my son is with the Tonys. Okay.
Who was your son with the Tonys?
My son is Frank Stickum. Used to be with Bobby Brown. Then he left Bobby and went to the Tonys. His name is Frank Stickum. You can Google him. Frick. F-R-A. Frank Steskemz.
Okay.
Frank Stickum.
All right.
Yeah, that's my son. Look just like me.
Okay.
He just like used to be Bobby Brown. Left Bobby went with N.W.A. and he with the Tonys.
Okay, all right, man. Well, see, again, man, that's why I like doing this podcast, man, because I find out so much information. Because it's a one-on-one conversation with a person. Yeah. You can disseminate all your information right here, Doc, and you're gonna get some new fans. You're gonna get some new interest because you telling stories that I ain't never heard before. And most people won't.
Yeah, my goal. Yeah, my goal wasn't to be in no life. I got put in a life. My goal was to be an entertainer. I used to watch Guitar Slim, B.B. King, and all them people, and see all them women and things screaming and at them. I said, well, that's what I want to do. I want women to scream at me.
Okay.
You understand me? So that's what put me into the music. That was my goal. To play the blues and buy me a Cadillac and keep buying Cadillac.
Now, you know what? I also heard that you ain't the only brother that was in the life that was a musician.
Oh, that's right. Johnny Guitar Watson.
Johnny Guitar Watson, he pimping.
That's right.
Even rumor had
Tyrone Davis.
Okay, Tyrone Davis. And was it one more I heard? Was it Tyrone Lil Willie John and my other boy, I can't think of his name right. That red light always makes my mind go to waste. But it's another guy I heard about also, man. I can't think of his name right now. But yeah, a lot of these brothers who come out to life or into life was musicians before. I mean, it was in the life before they
turned to music. Yeah.
Yeah, before they turned to music. That is interesting, dude. That is really interesting. So where you performing at now, man?
Oh well, I did the King Biscuit. In October, I did the King Biscuit in Helena, Arkansas, the biggest blues festival in the world.
Okay. Okay.
Then I turned around and I did just come off the blues cruise where they flew me to San Diego, and we went around to Cabo San Lucas and came back through Mazanina.
Okay.
And came back, and when I got off the boat in Cabo San Lucas, they stormed me. They thought I was Snoop, boy. Snoop on out. Snoop Dogg on out. I said, no. I said, but we got something in common, me and Snoop. But I said, I'm better looking than Snoop. Y'all take a look at me. Yeah, but I said, but me and Snoop is friends because we got a film on the table.
Okay.
For Snoop and Nick Cannon, whenever they get it off.
Okay.
Snoop, it's been out there for Snoop to play the older me and Nick Cannon to play the younger me. Because, Nick Cannon played me in a comedy thing. Remember he had a TV show? And he was called himself FILLMORE Slim. It was comical. He dressed like a pimp. Do you remember that?
Oh, I'm going to look that one up, dude. I'm going to look that one up.
Look that up.
Okay.
But my agent called his agent and said, do you know FILLMORE Slim is a real person? And when they did that, they took it off the air. And when I met Nick Cannon, I said, you know what? I'm sorry I did that. He said, why? I said, because I could have sued you. He said, yeah, and I could have paid you. I said, well, I'm mad. I said, I'm mad because my agent took it off and let it run, Yeah, wow. That's what happened in that issue, And like I say, I go to churches, talk to young people, They call me to be a witness in a prostitution case, And the DA tried to reject me, but the judge said, this man got 7 decades of the game. He said, we're going to learn something. Yeah, and that was a court in Alameda or in Oakland, right?
Okay.
So they got a hung jury, so he overrided the DA. So what happened is the DA said, well, he's old school, and FILLMORE Slim, Mr. FILLMORE Slim is this case is new school.
Okay.
I said, well, I don't want to. Then I spoke then when she said that I was old school. I said, well, I don't want to say nothing bad about the court. I said, but they call me from all around the world. Ask me if they're doing it right. You know, if they get a girl. Yeah, I said, they call me. I said, I'm known as the Godfather, the Pope of the game. I said, them youngsters, when they call me, they say, Godfather. One youngster called me from Atlanta. He said, I just want to know that I'm doing the game right. He said, I got 2 girls, you know. He said, and I just got this Caucasian girl, and my other 2 girls don't think that she ain't been, because she been with me only about 7, 8 months. She don't need to sit at the table with us because she ain't broke in yet. So I told him this. I said, who giving you the most money? He said, the Caucasian girl. I said, put her right on your right side. Put the other 2 on your left side. The one that's giving you the money, I said, put her on your right side.
See, game.
And that's advice I gave.
Game, boy. Look here. I got a quick question for you. I got to go back to the pimping days for a hot second. At your peak, how many girls did you have at one time?
27.
27. You worked with 27 women at one time
on the streets of Hollywood on Sunset Boulevard.
Man, that's a lot of estrogen.
All the way from the county, all the way down across to Vermont on Sunset.
Wow. Now, quick question.
And that's when I first met Whoopi Goldberg.
What?
Me and I got into an allocation.
What happened with you and Whoopi Goldberg?
She was studying to be actress.
Okay.
And we was down there on Hobart and Sunset. That's where the girls was working at. Right down there. She had a flat up the street between Sunset and Hollywood Boulevard on Hobart. So one night, and this is a true story. So one night, we all hang there, and they had a payphone right there. And I was staying in a little motel called the Bahia.
Okay.
So they had a payphone there. So I was running to get the payphone, and I seen this person dressed like a militant.
Mm-hmm.
And I snatched the phone, because the phone was ringing. Cause I was waiting on my girls that would call me on this phone because it was right there by my motel. Okay. So I ran and grabbed the phone, and she grabbed the phone, and I went off on her.
Mm.
I said, can you see a pimp trying to get his phone call? Back up off the phone. And she said, what do you mean? I said, who the fuck are you? Excuse me. I said, who you is? I said, you dressed like a militant? What are you? I said, you're ugly? You look bad? I went off, man. You know what I mean? And she went up the street. She was talking to me, and then she went up the street, and she came back. I thought she going to get a man. You understand me? Now my room was right there where I can see that phone booth. Okay, I'm on the bottom floor. Okay. So on the first room in that motel, right in that phone booth, I'm right on the corner. Okay. But when she come back, she was walking all around there. Walking all around there, and I looked. She had a rifle, man, up under that coat. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. She gonna offer brother.
What?
I'm serious, man. So the next day, I seen up there, up there on the Highland, up there Highland and Franklin, big supermarket where all the actors and things go, right?
Okay.
So I was in there and I seen her, right? So I run down. I said, "You gonna kill her, brother? What you? Who you?" I said, "I'm the one that snatched the phone. I didn't talk to you crazy. You went and got that rifle." She said, "Yeah, I was pretty mad." I said, "But you don't know. I had a 38 pointed on you everywhere you walked. But I was laying on the floor like I was in the army, buddy. And every time she moved, I was pointing that 38.
Wow.
Yeah. So we got all the shit. Well, I didn't know who you was. I didn't know you was. I said, yeah, we both. She said, I said, we both come from over there, the Bay Area, because she's up there in Oakland and San Francisco.
Okay.
I said, yeah, I'm from up there. So we smoothed it off. She said, I'm pretty mad. We apologized and all that. It was cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got to get back to the music again. Now, who's your producer?
My producer is me and my agent put out that CD. What happened is we made the CD down here at a place called Greaseland, and they got a lot of this new company. They got a lot of people,
Okay.
So we did the CD with them, they came to me, you know, they said that after we did the CD, they said, well, they had some people in Texas, and they shopped the CD to him and said, yeah, we know who FILLMORE Slim is, and we'd be more than glad to produce his CD, but he can't go. That's restriction now.
Okay.
They said, now we own the music, we own the lyrics, you know, we own the writing credit and all that, and he can't go to no more players' ball. Listen at me now.
Okay.
I said, you got to be crazy. I said, I'm not going to sign no contract like this. I said, people honor me all around the world, New York, Chicago, you know, Las Vegas 5 times. I said, the last, you know, and when last time, you know, the third time I went to Las Vegas, brother, you know what I'm saying, me? Blessing money. All them players blessing me. I had $20,000 in my pocket. You feel me?
Wow, wow.
Yeah. They gave me jewelry. They gave me money. They gave me mink coat. They gave me my first mink coat in Hollywood.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
You seen it on the air where they presented me with the mink. You know, I said, you think I'm gonna sign this contract and stop all my popularity with my fan base out there in the other world?
Right.
You got to be crazy. So what we did, the $4,000 they gave them, we paid them off, and we own everything. That's why I got my own label, FILLMORE Slim Media.
That's how you do it, baby. That's how you do it.
We own it all.
Now, FILLMORE, you said you was pimping in the 50s. You got to be what, 70-something?
Oh no, I'm 85, brother. I just turned 85 November the 7th, 1934. I'm a Scorpio.
85?
Longevity in my family tree. Now, I'm from New Orleans. That's right.
Now, see, man, I got to put a pin right here for a second and make a point for these youngsters out here who think that getting to 21 is an achievement. 85? Come on,
I'm 85.
Man. I'm not mad at you. I'm trying to get to 100 myself, but you damn sure gonna beat me there. I ain't mad at you though. But you you touring and you're gigging and you're doing your thing at 85 years old, man. Why did you just go sit down somewhere and say forget about it? Why you didn't give up on your dreams, FILLMORE?
Well, I had a lot of offers to me. You know, I could have been in movies a long time ago. I remember in L.A., you know, when they came at me, they wanted to put me in a jungle movie. I said, I ain't going to wear no skirt, and I ain't going to have no bone in my nose. Y'all forget me. Then they wanted to put me in a movie. Cause, you know, I used to play, I was playing music in Hollywood when we could play in the clubs out there.
Okay.
But we couldn't socialize. You feel me?
Okay.
At that time, you know, we could play. So I was playing this coffee shop, and all these directors and things come around saying, you know, we like to put you in this film. You know, they wanted me in this cowboy film, play my guitar and sing to the horse. I said, man, you done lost your mind. I ain't gonna sing nobody's horse. You know, so I had a lot of opportunities. I could have been in the movie, but I was, you know, I didn't care. You know, I didn't realize. That's what it was. I didn't realize I was, you know, closing doors on myself by being in the life. I got too, you know, too popping my collar in the life, and I probably really miss more money than what I do when I was in the life. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I met you once before, man. I met you in passing with my boy Lee Mack. You remember Lee Mack?
Yeah, my man.
That was my good partner of mine, man. He had the Players Ball at the Hollywood Park Casino. And
don't you remember when? Don't you remember when we did the Players Ball and with me, Ike Turner, and we all did that in East L.A. Lee Mack's name. That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, I went to that one too, man. You know, it's funny, man, how people paths cross sometimes. I ain't never been no pimp. I've always, you know, kind of as a kid, I always kind of admired that lifestyle. In fact, when I was a kid, man, Century Boulevard was a host road down to L.A.
That's right.
If Century and Prairie was a host road right by the racetrack. And man, we would go out of our go out our way just to go past the hoes on Century Boulevard.
That's right.
Because back then, and I'm 16, 17 years old, they flashed the titty at you from time to time, okay? But that was exciting as hell for us, boy. You know, we was young, they was old, and oh man, it was crazy. So, you know, as a kid, we grew up at a different time, so thing we saw was a little bit different. I guess I was old, I was young. And they were, you know, if they was they was 24, 25. They was old women to me, okay? But you know, I've always owned nightclubs. You ever played Jeffy's in L.A.?
Yeah, I know about Jeffries.
I ran Jeffries for 40 years since 1979.
Yeah.
And
Molly Gibbs,
memory
Park.
lane, right.
Memory lane, yeah.
Run all, being in the club business, man, you run across all kind of people, Doc.
Yeah, and California Club, St. Andrew.
You ever play Dudos?
Yeah.
Okay, over in Compton, we Dudos. I ran Dudos for years.
Yeah. I remember. Listen, I remember when I first came to LA, right?
Okay.
And I went out there in Compton, right? You understand me? On that train, right?
Okay.
And the mother let me jump on that train and go back. Where you from? Who are you? They made me get on that train and go back to Los Angeles. Yeah, that's the first time I went to Compton. Yeah, but I played Compton, 103rd and Main, all out there. You know, I remember the Ken folks, the Coopers.
Okay.
You know, Garnell Cooper and Buzz Cooper, you know.
Okay.
And yeah, I remember them, the Ken folks. And I remember Charles Wright, you know.
Wow, that's my boy. He's my next call. I'm going to call him next. Because I'm doing this, my whole series, man, is about old school players, man, that's still here with us.
Charles Wright still living?
Yeah, he's still living.
Oh, man, tell him I say hello.
So we got an award together not long ago. And we connected a couple times. I'm gonna give him a call. That's my next interview, doggone it. You brought the name up.
Well, how old is Charles?
Charles got to be 70-something, man. He got to be 70,
yeah,
almost
he was
80.
Somewhere around there. Yeah, that's right.
Because
I was older than him.
Yeah, Charles is he definitely older than me, and I don't think he's quite as old as you, but I know he right there in the middle between both of us.
Yeah, well, I was approached when I was there, you know, young kid, you know, in LA, you know. I was approached by Little Richard. He wanted me to be his chauffeur. He had a pink Cadillac. You know, that was in 1957.
Wow.
You know, I said, no, Richard, I'm going to get my car. I'm going to get me a Cadillac. I ain't driving. Nobody said Cadillac. I'm going to get my own, you know. And then Raymond Burrow, you know, he
Ironside. Yeah.
Yeah, Ironside. He stopped me and say, beautiful man. You know, say, I said, well, I tell you this here. If you're going to let me push you in that wheelchair, you understand me, I'm going to talk to you. Yeah, I had a lot of excitement in Los Angeles. I was approached by a lot of people.
Question for you. I actually need the same question. I'm going to ask you the same question. When you out there on the road, man, who do you like playing with? What acts you like playing with?
Or what acts I like to play with?
Yeah.
Or what acts?
Yeah. What other acts you like playing with?
Oh, well, I've been out with a lot of people, you know. Like I say, I've been on blues festivals, you know. When I was out in Europe, you know, I was on B.B. King was there. Over there, Raphael Sadiq was over there, you know. Who else? A lot of people out of Chicago and things, you know. I met a lot of entertainers. But my favorite entertainer was Albert King.
Okay.
You know, I like B.B., but Albert King has a style of guitar that, you know, that everybody took up. You know, I like an album, you know, and right now, you know, it's me. Ain't too many of us left. You know, me and my homeboy, Buddy Guy.
Okay.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah, Buddy, you know, and there's a few other people, you know, Bobby Rush, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, Bobby, you know, we were just, we was in Arkansas together, you know. We met in Mississippi because we stayed in this big casino in Lula, Mississippi, but across the river is Helena, Arkansas, and that's where Sonny Boy Williams came from, you know. So I kicked so much down there. They were bringing me back. They want me to come back this year.
Okay.
In October, you know. I mean, next year in October. I didn't want to go back to back, but then I said, well, long as you're living and can move, keep on moving.
Do your thing.
So I'm going back. You know.
You ever play with Swamp Dogg?
Huh?
You know Swamp Dogg?
Yeah, I heard him.
Okay, yeah, that's what you ever play with. That's a buddy of mine. He always down playing in the blues.
Yeah, I remember Swamp Dogg. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing, man. We got another connection.
But you know what? I never played, and I guess I'm gonna play it one of these times. I never played the Long Beach Festival.
Okay.
And I came down there and I played with the guest with Earl Thomas. You know, you heard Earl Thomas, right?
Okay.
So, and we was at the sugar mill in Maui, like Hawaii, Maui Sugar Mill in Tarzana.
Okay.
I played that with I think it's Earl Thomas, and long time ago, you know. Wow, let's see what I played the 5-4 ballroom.
5-4 ballroom, Central Avenue. Yep.
54 and Broadway, and but I played with a lot of people, and this King Bishop I played with a lot of people on this blues cruise.
Okay.
There had a lot of people. They had Taj Mahal.
Okay.
They had Loudon Mo.
Okay.
You know, Loudon Mo.
Okay.
They had a lot of people on this blues cruise.
Question.
And we was on FA days. You know, went around through Mexico.
Okay. Johnny Taylor, was he a pimp before he was a singer?
Who?
Johnny Taylor. That's the name I couldn't think of earlier. Johnny.
Yeah, JT. Yeah, JT. I remember JT got but first JT came to San Francisco, right?
Okay.
And he played San Francisco, and he stayed at this hotel called the Mayaca. Okay.
Okay.
And JT liked to drink that alcohol. And this was 1956. He had that 56 Fleetwood Blue.
Okay.
You know. So I get the doorbell ring, ding ding, on my door, you know, and he rang the door, and this girl come and say, the manager come and say, Johnny downstairs, you know, he knew, say, Fillmore, he want to talk to you. So I go down there, and he's sitting in there with a fifth alcohol. He said, Fillmore, tell him to give it back to me, man. Tell him to give it. I said, what are you talking about, man? So what he did that night, to them putting his stuff in the safe, and he put it up on his bed, so he went with these hookers. And they took him off, right?
Okay.
All this. He said, well, I don't worry about the money, but I want the checks. I said, well, Johnny, I said, man, he said, well, you know the people. I said, man, I can't go to them people and tell them women, you know, I don't know nothing about, no, I can't get myself involved in that. And if I did, what did these players talking about, man, that's my friend, telling me, y'all get that back. They look at me crazy. They might jump off. I said, I can't do nothing about that, man. You know, yeah, they took him out of San Francisco.
Wow.
So they put his briefcase on the bed. He was drunk, so they got his checks, and you know, that's what happened to him. You know, I don't know what players did it or but they came to me. You know, 'cause I guess they figured I would know. You know, I said, I don't know about that, man. You know.
Wow. Hey, man, it's been great talking to you. I really learned a lot. Where can they see you at next, man? Where they gonna see? Where you gonna be next?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna be. I got one more thing. I'm gonna do I'm gonna do Kwanzaa in San Francisco. You know, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Kwanzaa in San Francisco, and that's just about it until I get back on the road again. You know,
right.
But you never know because this new CD is calling me out. You know,
I
opened for the great, fantastic McGreco.
Okay.
Yeah, he wanted to meet me, you know, so he met me, you know what I mean? We hit it off, you know. I opened for him, and I told him when I come off stage, I said, you got a Grammy, you know what I'm saying, fantastic McGreco, but you got your work cut out.
Hey, what would you call your music? Blues, Zydeco? What you call it?
Oh no, I'm blues. I'm down home blues, you know.
All right.
But now, on my new CD, man, let me explain something to you.
Go for it.
I came up in the life around all the jazz musicians, right?
Mm-hmm.
Horace Silver, Coltrane, you know, all of them. I come up in San Francisco, like Sarah Barnes, you know, Donna Washington. You see, in San Francisco at the Fillmore Auditorium, McCoy, guy was named McCoy. So he would let me open. I was open for Dakota Staten, Nancy Wilson, all the jazz people. I would open for them, you know, at the Fillmore Auditorium. That's how I met all these people, you know.
Okay.
All these different jazz players. I can sing jazz, but I can't play it. I can scat. I can sing jazz. I've been on stage with Rosson, Roland Kirk, you know.
Okay.
I've been there with a lot of jazz people. I can sing jazz. I can scat and do all that. And my potential before I leave this earth is to make a jazz that say Fillmore Slim goes jazz.
Wow.
But I can do it all.
Wow. Man, much love to you, Fillmore Slim. It's been great talking to you, Doc. My guest today, y'all, is Mr. Fillmore Slim, legendary Fillmore Slim. Yes, the Fillmore Slim, folks.
That's right.
The legendary. Go ahead.
And I want to tell the people out there, you know, I didn't explore my sisters, okay? And the ones that I did explore was the one that I showed them a better way. Because the rest, they had 4 and 5 kids. They were living in the projects, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I gave them a better life. I took care of the kids. And when these women that had kids, I became these kids' father.
Wow. Okay. It's two sides. It's two
cause
sides every coin.
They say, you can't like the woman and don't like her kids, and you can't have a woman with kids that's doing things for you and don't take care of the kids.
Okay.
And that's what I did, and that's why I'm so loved around the world, because I wasn't no hater. I was congratulated, and I wasn't no gorilla. I was a player for real, and there was love and passion with me, with my women. My women went out the door. They didn't go out mad. They went out with a smile on their face.
All right. Mr.
And that's the way I did it.
Mr. FILLMORE Slim, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. But FILLMORE, where can they find you at? They got a website, email?
Oh, yeah. If you go to FILLMORE Slim Reverb Nation.
Okay. All right, y'all. Y'all heard it from the man himself, the legendary FILLMORE Slim, live with Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast hip hop, y'all. See y'all next episode.